What is going on, traders? In this video, we are going to talk about the possibility of a crash happening. Before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So in the last few videos, I've tried my best to let it be known that I do not think the bottom is in. This is not to be confused with me saying that I think the short-term bottom is in, because I do think the short-term bottom is in. However, I do not think the bottom of all bottoms, I do not think the final boss is in. In fact, I think the next drop is going to be a lot worse than what we previously witnessed. And we're going to go over the reasons why. One, historically, when we're looking at the SPY, we're looking at the SPY weekly time frame, by the way. Historically, the first low is usually not the last low. What do I mean by that? Well, if we go back in time, and I want you guys to lock in here and pay attention to the pattern that's happening here. If we go back in time, we made a low, right? We made a low, we broke below the 50 SMA, we made a low here. We retested, we got a little bit above the 50 SMA, we made another low here, we retested the 100 SMA, we made another low here, we retested both the 50 and 100 SMA, and then we made a low all the way to the point that we hit the 200 MA. Let's go back to present date. We have not hit the 200 MA. Again, the first low historically is not the last low. Let's look again. Here, right? Now, this is a different scenario because we hit the 200 MA. In fact, we went below the 200 MA, right? Stay with me here. Here, we made a low. We retested the 50 SMA multiple times, and then we hit the 200 MA. Are we picking up on a pattern here? Every time we've made a low, whether it's the first low or the second low, we hit the 200 MA. And if we don't hit the 200 MA, historically, that has shown that the first low is not the last low. So for example, we made a low here, we never hit the 200 MA, and then the second low hit the 200 MA. Here, we went straight for the 200 MA. Here, took some time, right? We entered a bear market, we made a low here, we made another low here, we made another low here, and then we made a low all the way to the 200 MA before heading towards all-time highs. If we go back to present day, here, we made a low, but we have yet to hit the 200 weekly MA. And so a lot of Discord members, if not some of you even on YouTube, ask me all the time, well, if I don't think the bottom is in, when will it happen? And I can't give you a definitive answer, but one thing I've let Discord members know all the time is that I don't think the bottom is going to come in until closer to summertime, maybe end of April, sometime in May. Possibly, if we're pushing it, June, right? And I could be wrong about this. The bottom could possibly be in right now, right? I'm okay with being wrong. But what I will say is that I am bullish for this upcoming week, right? I'm not taking that away. I just want to get this video out there to pretty much get you guys prepared, get Discord members prepared, because we're going to make a bag. We're going to make such a bag. But anyway, I want to get you guys prepared because this week is a short week. I believe the market is closed Friday. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong there. But I do know that historically, when the market has short weeks, those weeks typically or historically are bullish. So I do think the SPY is going to head towards 550. Highest I'm looking at is about 575, 580, right around where the 50 SMA is on the weekly time frame. Now, keep in mind, we can go a little bit higher than that, and we've seen that in the past where we got a little bit above the 50 SMA before breaking further down towards the downside, right? So we can very much see a move towards 580, if that, right? Before seeing another move towards the downside. Again, historically, the first low is not the last low until we hit the 200 MA. And so if we look at quant data, I showed you guys this in the last video, I believe 2 videos ago, where I let you guys know that one, I am in 550 calls on the SPY heading into April 30th. We look at institutions are in 550 calls April 30th. And then we see that they loaded up at 534.75, 11,000 quantity. They're at the ask. So I do believe that SPY is going to head towards, at minimum, 550. But something else interesting happened, and I forgot to mention this in the last video or a few videos ago. If we look at consolidated order flow here, right, and give me a moment. Let me see if I can find it. All right, we look down here, right? Let's click this. We see that institutions loaded up SPY 570 calls for December 31st, 2025. The expiration does not mean anything to me at this point. I think it's pretty irrelevant. I think they were pretty much saving face just in case Donald Trump does anything crazy, right? So you can argue that this is a hedge. Me personally, I don't think this is a hedge. In fact, I do think SPY has the potential to head towards 575. Again, it doesn't have to happen. At minimum, we could see a move towards 550. These guys take profit, and then we start seeing downside from there. All right, so 550 and 575 are my targets until we see more downside. Right, so hopefully this makes sense. Again, the first low historically is not the last low unless we hit the 200 MA. Again, we go back in time, we see multiple times that the first low was not the last low. Once we hit the 200 weekly MA, that's when the bottom was in. Once we hit the 200 MA, get a little bit below it, that's when the bottom was in. Again, once we hit the 200 MA, that's when the bottom was in. All right, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you're going to, please do not spam me with questions on exact dates and specifics and things like that. I don't know when this is going to happen. It may not even happen, guys. All right, I'm just putting it out there. This doesn't mean that I think this upcoming week is going to be bearish. I'm still leaning bullish towards this week, unless Trump does something crazy and randomly just decides tariffs all over again. Whatever the case may be, I think we're going to see more upside, but I don't think the bottom is in. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Until the next video, traders, have a good one.